April 27, 1944, Lisbon, Portugal. Rain lashes against the windows of a quiet cafe tucked between the narrow alleys of Rua das Portas de Santo Antão. Inside, a man in a perfectly pressed gray suit stirs his coffee twice, clockwise, his habitual signal. He's unassuming, with neatly combed hair, sharp cheekbones, and an expression that hides more than it reveals. His name is Juan Pujol García, though the Germans know him by another, Agent Garbo. Across from him sits a courier from Berlin, carrying an envelope embossed with the eagle and swastika, the Reich's seal of trust. Inside is something Pujol has been anticipating for weeks, orders directly from the Abwehr, Hitler's military intelligence agency. The message is clear. The Führer demands precise intelligence on the Allied invasion of France. Every whisper, every movement, every ship sighted across the Channel must be reported to Berlin without delay. They believe Garbo's vast spy network, supposedly 27 agents strong, is their most reliable window into British strategy. What the Germans don't know is that every single one of those agents exists only in Pujol's imagination. He spent months crafting them. Engineers, soldiers, dock workers, even a British Air Ministry typist. Each has a backstory, a voice, and detailed reports written by Pujol himself. And the Abwehr, desperate for reliable intelligence, swallowed the illusion whole. Now, as he seals his coded reply to Berlin, Pujol's hand trembles slightly. He's about to feed them the biggest lie of the war. Through MI5 handlers in London, particularly Tommy Harris, his case officer, Pujol has crafted an operation that will soon become one of the most ambitious deception campaigns in military history. Operation Fortitude. The goal? To convince Hitler that the Allied invasion will strike not at Normandy, but at Pas de Calais, the narrowest point between Britain and France. At 11:42 a.m., the courier departs into the rain, clutching Pujol's letter. Within 48 hours, it will sit on a desk in Berlin, in front of men who would never suspect the truth that their most trusted agent is working for MI5. As the cafe empties, Pujol lights a cigarette. Smoke curls in the air, and for a fleeting second, he allows himself to imagine what might happen if he's caught. Torture, execution, his wife, Araceli, left behind in London, unaware of his every coded risk. But then he smiles faintly. For once, he whispers in Spanish, the truth is the lie. Outside, thunder rolls across the Atlantic horizon. The greatest invasion in history is just weeks away, and Garbo's deception is already in motion.
May 1944, London. The war room beneath St. James's Street hums like a machine. Cigarette smoke clouds the air, typewriters hammer out reports, and maps of northern France are pinned with colored strings that mark imaginary divisions and phantom armies. At the center of it all, Juan Pujol García, Agent Garbo, leans over a massive operations map, his eyes scanning the Channel coast. His British handler, Tommy Harris, watches him with a mix of admiration and disbelief. "You've got half the German high command hanging on your every word," Harris mutters. "Let's make sure they never stop." Together, they're weaving the greatest illusion of the war, Operation Fortitude South, the deception meant to shield the true target, Normandy. Through a network of false radio transmissions, fake troop movements, and Garbo's meticulously crafted reports, the Allies create a phantom army known as the First U.S. Army Group, UFAG, supposedly led by General George S. Patton, the Germans' most feared commander. Inflatable tanks dot the English countryside, dummy landing craft bob along the coast of Kent. Even aerial reconnaissance photos are planted with evidence. But Garbo's role is the keystone. His reports must breathe life into the illusion. Every word he sends to Berlin has to feel authentic, human, flawed, detailed. And so Pujol invents it all. My agent in Dover reports significant armor movements toward the coast. Additional transport ships have arrived at the Thames estuary. The invasion force grows daily. Berlin believes every word. They even complained about the slowness of his couriers, insisting Garbo use faster channels to deliver intelligence. By early June, his dispatches have completely convinced Hitler's inner circle that the real invasion will strike Calais, not Normandy. The deception is working so perfectly that the Abwehr promotes him and recommends him for one of Nazi Germany's highest honors, the Iron Cross. But the real test is about to begin. June 5th, 1944. Pujol receives the signal from MI5. The invasion begins at dawn.
The skies over the channel fill with aircraft, and the Allied fleet surges towards Normandy. At 3:45 a.m., Garbo's message to Berlin goes out, a careful, deliberate lie within a truth. He reports the invasion, but claims it's only a feint, a diversion meant to draw German forces away from the real attacks still to come at Calais. And Hitler believes him. For the next 2 days, as Allied troops fight through the beaches of Normandy, the German 15th Army, over 150,000 men, waits idle near Calais, expecting a second invasion that never comes. Every hour they wait, thousands of Allied soldiers gain ground in France. Garbo's lies have saved lives and doomed the Nazi defense. In a small MI5 office, Tommy Harris breaks into a grin. He's done it, he says quietly. He's fooled Hitler twice.
July 1944, Madrid. The sun beats down on the Spanish capital as a German attaché steps out of the embassy carrying a sealed case. Inside is a medal carefully wrapped in velvet, the Iron Cross, second class, personally authorized by Adolf Hitler. The recipient? Agent Garbo, whose supposed intelligence reports had, in Berlin's view, foreseen every step of the Allied campaign. To the Nazis, he is nothing short of a genius. To MI5, he's a living ghost who walks between worlds. Juan Pujol sits inside a dimly lit apartment, blinds drawn, the air heavy with summer heat. He's been recalled to neutral ground under the pretense of consulting with his UBWER contacts. In truth, it's a carefully orchestrated performance. The Germans want to reward their star agent. MI5 wants to make sure nothing jeopardizes his cover. When the attaché finally meets him, the exchange is brief, almost ceremonial. The medal glints in the light as it's placed into Pujol's hands. "For your service to the Reich," the officer says solemnly, "your intelligence spared thousands of German lives." Pujol bows politely, suppressing the tremor in his chest. The irony is suffocating. The very intelligence that earned him the Iron Cross has doomed the Reich's defenses and hastened its downfall. He thanks the man, tucks the medal away, and walks out into the blinding Spanish sun, a Nazi hero and a British patriot at once. Back in London, MI5 officers toast quietly in their underground offices. Tommy Harris chuckles as he reads the telegram confirming the award. "They just gave our man a medal for helping us invade France," he says, pouring himself a whiskey. "You can't make this up." But Garbo's work isn't over yet. Even after D-Day, Hitler continues to believe that Calais remains the true target. For weeks, German panzer divisions are kept immobilized in the north, awaiting an invasion that never comes. By the time they're finally released, it's too late. The Allies are deep into France, and the road to Paris lies open. Still, Pujol knows the danger isn't gone. If Berlin ever suspects him, his name, his wife, and his cover could all vanish in an instant. So, under MI5's guidance, Garbo sends one final flourish of reports, small, believable details about troop movements, to keep his legend alive just long enough for the war to tip irreversibly in the Allies' favor. Then, he disappears. By 1945, as the Reich collapses and the UBWER disintegrates, Garbo fakes his own death. The official story in both German and Spanish archives reads, Juan Pujol García, deceased, malaria, Angola, 1949. In truth, he boards a ship under a false identity, bound for Venezuela, where he lives quietly for decades, running a small bookstore, vanishing from the world he once deceived. He never boasts of his medals, one from Hitler, one from King George VI. Two sides, two lies, one man who fooled them both. And somewhere in a drawer in Madrid, that Iron Cross still lies cold and gleaming, a relic of the time when a quiet Spaniard invented an entire army and made the Führer believe in ghosts.